I do have some comments. I'm concerned, and I'll express my concern again tomorrow afternoon at the construction meeting. Saturday is the Pine Grove Crafts Fair at Triton. I'm concerned because the sign that I saw at the intersection of Route 1 and 133 clearly shows Triton is where the location for the Crafts Fair. The sign on the common, I saw Pine Grove School, and if you look real hard, and I know driving by it, I didn't see it at all, it says Triton underneath. So I'm concerned that we are going to get some traffic here on Saturday between 9 and 3.
10 and 4. And the sign out front of the
10
school
and
now
4?
says
Triton
Crafts Fair, Triton. The plaque
marquee
in front
says
of the
Triton
school
Middle.
Okay.
says Triton.
So,
We can't help if people aren't paying attention.
I know.
I know.
All the crafters, right? So all of the people who are displaying, assuming they're all communicated, we get people coming to.
Yeah,
And there was
I
a
mean-
sign here last year after the cracker
Saying it was gonna be at the middle
Yeah.
school.
but you know, that was a year ago.
And it's all over Facebook and it's all over the town stuff.
It's been all over the Daily News,
It's
too.
been all over.
Well,
So
anyway,
if somebody
for
really wants to
Saturday,
get into the building,
There possibly will be people working Saturday,
just working,
yes.
yeah.
Okay. Moving on,
Somebody comes in with an
review
apple.
and approve the minutes for the school building committee October 25th meeting. Everybody had a chance to review the minutes? Any comments?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes for the October 25th school building committee meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Project update. It's nice to see the windows in the school, in the all-purpose room. And I'm glad to hear that it's still on for the 21st, is it? 19. Yeah, but
3
you're having a,
The holiday sing-along will be Friday, the 21st, in the
Yeah.
afternoon in the AP room.
and we're looking forward to having the town meeting January 14th.
And that's already been scheduled. We received a notification for that.
I approved it.
Yeah. I was on that email. too.
Special town meeting.
Okay.
Can't call
so
it.
wait a minute, sing along on the 21st?
Can't call it.
Friday afternoon at 2.
a, fall town meeting, as I have been doing. Okay,
Is there
project
time- Is there
update.
time for that? To the town meeting?
We will be here at 7 o'clock.
7, okay.
What's the reason for the town meeting in January? What did
We
you do?
have items on the warrant to, we have Community Preservation Committee meeting, monies to be appropriated, and we also have some articles on, Cliff, I forgot.
The bunch,
Zoning.
there's like 3 or 4 zoning articles. One is connected with the donation of the Didac building to the town of Rowley. And
Nice.
the developer would prefer not to wait until May. He wants to move things along, so that's the main reason for January.
Do we want to plan for more of an open house / tour on that day as well of what's been done so far, or just the all-purpose room? Come a half an hour early, because there was a lot of curiosity on conference night. I don't know how much of a burden it is to the
It might
team
be
that's
a good
working
idea.
here, but if we could open it up a little bit more to let people see what their tax dollars are going for, it helps move it along.
Good idea.
As long as they have to check in before they wander around.
Well,
Because that's the problem, is they have to.
Yeah, they have to register for the
Oh,
town
that's
meeting.
true.
Right.
phase 2 really isn't a problem. I would not
It's just a
offer
sign.
anybody to go into 3, just because it'll still be active construction.
I think it's just the.
I think they're just talking about the
Just-
north wing and the
that's-
lobby.
I'm just talking about even just right
No,
here.
that's
Yeah.
fine, that's fine.
So what you said, Karen, about they have to check in first?
So what happens is when you come in, you have to check in,
Your name gets, yeah.
and you get recorded, and as long as people, there was an issue before when we had it in the gym, because, people were kind of like wandering all over the building and not,
getting into the gym.
Right.
Gotcha. So the check-in could be going into the all-purpose room. So they came and walked through the wing, and then checked in and went into the all-purpose room.
Typically, they do the check-in
Yeah.
right in the lobby. They set up
But
a
I think
table.
Right.
the tour would be first.
Yeah, usually it's right in the
Right in the
lobby.
lobby.
If the meeting is at 7, maybe the school is open for tours from 6 to 6:45, and check-in doesn't begin until 6:30.
You call an open
6:45,
house. I mean,
open house.
If it's just this wing, there's
Yeah.
not too much to tour.
Yeah.
It's just.
And then set up your thing right inside the door.
Which is what they do. It's
Yeah.
not me, it's
Yeah.
the town. clerk.
Right, well, so,
I just
yeah.
know there was an issue with people wandering around.
Once again, we can't help everybody.
The good thing is we can contain, because it's only from the gallery this way.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. You have building committee members in each room. Oh, Larry.
Okay, project update.
Okay. We'll start from the outside and we'll work our way inside. With winter here approaching, whatever you want to refer to it as, most of the exterior activities as they relate to site have been concluded for the season. There is still work going on exterior of the building in upper south, replacing windows. I think they have the entire set of windows that face the wetlands. I think those are now installed. They're just trimming them out and doing the detail work on those. And they'll be they've also started working on the windows that face the playground. So between now and probably the end of next week, all the new windows in Upper South will be installed. I think as everybody saw walking in, the curtain wall windows, one set is in. They're working on the second set now. So between now and Monday, those should be complete, which give a real bird's eye view as to what's going on in the AP room. The AP room, starting the AP room, we've started, as everyone knows, we removed all the structure that was put in place to fix the termite damage, and now we're working finishes. Lighting has been installed, the new lights. Painting has been progressing from the top down, and millwork is being delivered tomorrow, and will start to be installed next week after it acclimates to the space. The millwork that's being installed are the perimeter benches and some of the perimeter pegboard, I believe, is part of this particular delivery. Flooring for the new stage is in the building, and I'm going to start installing that next week also. The MCT flooring for the cafeteria portion will not be installed till the following week. The kitchen, they've continued to bring in more of the food service equipment and install it. In fact, they're working on making connections tonight to that. So that area progresses towards completion. And I believe on the schedule that they've set up a training with cafeteria staff for 12/10. And on the 11th, we're going to bring in everything that we put into storage and is sitting out in the parking lot. We'll bring that into the cafeteria also. And I know because I've been collecting them, there have been all sorts of deliveries for various equipment as it relates to some of the classrooms, but also specifically the cafeteria. That started to arrive also.
Is Wakefield Moving and Storage going to do those context moves?
Yes, Wakefield will take it from the containers into the spaces, and as part of that move, we'll also get all the theater items that have been in storage, and we'll move those into the theater storage space that's behind the stage.
107 boxes.
Can I just mention I was telling Brian earlier, Walter and Tom took Melinda, our cafeteria manager, and the 3 women that work with her and myself in to see the kitchen yesterday. You would have thought it was the Publishers Clearinghouse showed up to your front door. They were all 3 of them were literally crying. They were so excited, and they were like hugging the appliances. It was just really cool. I wish I had my phone with me because I should have videotaped it. And they were walking into the walk-in refrigerator, and they're like, "Oh my God, we can have a party in here!" Like they just were totally blown away, and it was so great to see their expressions because they have not complained once for the 5 months that they've been displaced. So I just wanted to share that was a really happy story yesterday.
That's good.
I think as everyone mentioned earlier, the 19th is the turnover date. That remains the date. And each week, if you know, it's easier to pop by and look in now that the windows are going in the AP room. We'll kind of make sure that they don't close them off. But if they become a big distraction, we can do that also.
So the construction fencing that goes from the entry foyer down to the road along that curtain wall,
Yes.
that stays intact throughout the week.
No, it will be reconfigured. When the AP room turns over, in an emergency, you'll be able to go out through the new doors at the rear, and the new steps and the ramp are in place. The remaining they were able to pour that portion. The rest of the plaza was not poured, so they will reconfigure the temporary fencing so that you don't get in the mud of what wasn't poured. So you'll come out; it'll funnel you towards the plaza that's in place now out front, and then you'll be able to.
And there's plantings against the building.
There are some plantings,
That
and
can be
then
filled in with dirt now.
correct, and to be built come springtime will be the new memorial. That's also part of that reworked area. Phase 3 is in full swing with rough electrical, plumbing, HVAC. We've been making penetrations, as Emma knows.
Poor Emma.
She's been a trooper. She's been a trooper.
Unfortunately, her classroom
Yeah.
has experienced the brunt of some of that, but she's a trooper.
So
Yes, it shall pass.
You got it better.
that work continues unimpeded. Where the weather has hurt us the most has been up on the roof. We have not had the best of weather to peel that old roof off and install the new roof. We're hoping it's not so much the cold. We just need to get out of the wet. So hopefully we'll
So
spring.
how much of a delay?
No,
No
there is
delay?
no delay. It only becomes a delay if we don't get the roof on by the time we're ready to turn it over. So right now, it's not as far along as they would have liked it to be, but it isn't pushing any dates out. So just everyone give a good positive thought about some dry weather.
For many reasons.
Yeah, yes. And that's that is in a nutshell where things are at. We haven't had any major surprises upstairs. Things are laying out the way they should, and everyone is busy. There are full crews in there tonight doing a variety of things. Plumbing. They're doing framing. A lot of the spaces have been reframed for new bathrooms and utility closets. Infills are happening, and they're installing all the rough plumbing and ductwork. Any questions?
Thank you. We have FF&E update.
So Margaret sat down with Christine today
Yep.
and went over kind of the final touches on, I think what we decided to do was kind of prioritize phases 3 and 4, basically the upstairs and the downstairs of the next piece, and then get all that stuff queued up with the manufacturer, so that's the priority. And then when we're doing phase 5, will be a separate. We'll do a separate procurement for that. But so that's where we are now. So we just put the final touches on that, and we should be releasing that in the next week or so.
Any questions?
Can I go back to a question on the project?
Sure.
So, reworking of the entryway,
Yes.
can you just give us a snapshot of where that's at?
Sure. We met as a group on the construction side with the police chief, the fire chief, I'm not sure what Pat's title is. I know
Highway
he's
surveyor.
Highway Department. Dawn Whitty was present, W.T. Rich, Pink, and Cliff and Joe, and we went through what has been worked through behind the scenes with two alternatives relating to the entrance specific, which was to realign the entrance with Main Street, which would require changing some curbing deep into the site and and changing the geometry of the road. The other.
Can you just describe what that means real quick, Larry? Because I have
Okay.
no idea what realigning.
Right now the road it's more it's perpendicular to the to Main Street, and in shifting the road would have it not be perpendicular but would bend towards the south, towards City Hall.
Okay.
Okay, so what would happen is the curb line where the island is now would move in a little bit, and the curb line on the south side would move towards the basketball court.
Okay.
Okay, part of that was to create 35-foot radiuses at the entrance at Main Street, and one of the impediments to doing that the way it is now is the utility pole, which is the other option that we're looking at, which is to relocate the utility pole 10 feet to the north, keep the curb lines where they are, change the throat of the driveway as it meets Main Street, so that
By making it wider.
right with 35-foot radiuses. Right now, well, we had a 30-foot radius on one side, and I think it's a 10-foot radius on the island side right now. So we would make that change. That is being priced as we speak, and I hope to by before Friday of our next meeting be able to have all those numbers, put them out there, and then we'll talk about it at the construction meeting. But the preferred route right now was to look at shifting the pole rather than realigning the entry driveway. Both police and fire were fine with either proposal as long as it worked for public safety trucks, getting into the site, and that in either scenario that works. As part of that meeting, we also looked at conservation agent was there also. We looked at snow storage and removal because the area is no longer this kind of flat, wide open expanse for plowing the site. And there were some suggestions which are being I won't say evaluated, but they're doing sketches with the architect, which was to change some of the islands throughout the site and make them flat and deal with paint to restrict traffic. The island out front that would have the flagpole, change some materials, remove some curb, and keep that flatter also, so that they were longer, wider expanses for pushing snow around. We're also looking at in the back at the bus loop, doing some similar things so that the areas remain flatter, easier to plow. As part of our Conservation Commission approval, there was a snow plan that will remain in effect. We're not deviating from that And in fact, it was offered up if we needed it, that based on what's happening with regards to wetlands and things like that, that the north side of the parking lot at the rec field, we could store additional snow there. Brett did not want us to push towards the where is going to be the new fields. Did not want snow pushed, directly in front or to the south. But he said that on that north side, which I guess it really isn't the north side; it's the east side. That would
push into the garden though?
No, this would be the garden. The garden would be up front of it. It would be where it's all rec land, I believe, rec land that controls that little parking lot, and then
Where the soccer fields
where the soccer fields are. That's not part of the school, but again, it would be available. I think in the wintertime they plow through there anyway to clear that as just a matter of course. But that was the sum total of what we discussed.
But we were making an access to the basketball court so that.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
that,
yes, and
Patrick
then
could
right.
get in and play.
Then the other issue was the muster area as related to any kind of emergency at the school. Right now, the basketball court is the muster area. In changing the grades, we have found out that we have cut off access to the basketball court as it relates to plowing. We have a drive into it as it relates to, or a sidewalk into it as it relates to coming off the sidewalk outside the school. So what we're going to do in the long term will be to drop some of the curb so that that a vehicle can drive up and over and get to the basketball court to plow it, so that in the wintertime it is free and available as a muster area. Right now, with the ground being frozen and the configuration at the entrance, there's enough space for a vehicle to drive right through up over the grass that's there now. But we're also going to put some hard material, some gravel in there, just to stabilize the area a little bit better.
So it's a temporary solution.
We have a temporary solution, but the long term will happen when we do the work with the entrance, which won't happen until the springtime.
Everything at the entry will have to get reviewed again by Mass DOT, so anything that connects to the road.
So both the options for the roadway involve increasing the width of the throat.
Correct. Yes, they do.
And the radius.
And the
Yeah.
radii.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
The radii.
That's how the throat gets increased, is changing the radius on the two left side and right side curves.
I'm sorry. That island that you're going to change from curving to, what are you planning? Some sort of like pavers or something?
I haven't seen the concept sketches, but yes, what we talked about will be a change in material so that there's a tactile difference, and they'll be able to make it into some kind of
The
architectural.
curbing itself could stay granite. We would just change the elevation that we set it at.
Oh.
So instead of setting it 6 inches up and having that break, you just set it flush so that they can push it in. You get a material change, and then so it's a visual change, and obviously all other materials in there that are containing the flagpole. So it'll be obvious that it's a different surface.
Does the granite have to be removed?
Which
It's not in place
It's not
yet.
there yet.
It's not in place.
So at the entrance there will be sections that will need to be removed and dropped to do the drive up to get into the basketball court, and then there'll be some will be removed and reset as the geometry is adjusted.
Can we get to look at that before
Sure.
decisions are made? Because I like islands, and they do serve a purpose, aesthetically and for vehicles and whatever. And just for plowing is really not what I feel is a reason for dropping that down, because when you clean out the schools, you need bobcats, you need all the other kind of equipment that will clean the school, you know what I mean? So it's not really, you know, just push everything because you want it all flat. I mean, I think the islands do serve a purpose.
And that is the point that was raised at that meeting that we had the other day, is that the curbing, there is a purpose for it, and that it is traditionally customary, that is what we do with curbing. We have it elevated, and an equipment change to what was previously done would resolve the problem.
Yeah, I would just like to look at that, you know, and discuss that, you know, when the right time comes up on
Yeah, no, we will, you know, when the sketches are available, we'll gladly include them as part of our conversation. Yeah, and one of the things that we did talk about, because we spent a lot of time, you know, at this level, the committee level, to make sure that there was a good separation between pedestrian and vehicular traffic, as well as the buses. That's why, you know, we have the loading and unloading of the buses in the back. Cars don't go back there, and you know the reason why.
And curbing keeps people in the right place too, you know.
Right, it allows for that separation. So, but yes, all the adjustments. Nobody's just going to go ahead and just do them. They'll get several looks. But those were some of the requests that were made, and you know, and Dora and Whittier will, you know, look at what the impacts could be to, you know, provide the requirement of separation between functions, but at the same time maybe help the issue related to plowing the lot.
So I'm glad you brought up the thing about the curbing, separating the pedestrian and vehicular traffic, because we still have parents that are quite worried about the issue with the vehicle bumpers.
Overhang?
Overhanging onto the sidewalk down at the bottom.
Actually, Nerissa and I perpetually get tagged on Facebook. It's the run,
I don't
which is now,
respond.
which is
'Cause
now
you
the
do.
drive. I respond. Which is now, what is it, 16 spaces? That's currently the student drop-off area. But
Yep.
then the lower lot is where
The
you
vis-
talked about
Mhm.
what do you call it, curb.
Wheel stops.
Wheel stops, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And is that, I'm assuming, I put that out there, that was my assumption, that's what we had talked about, but that wouldn't happen until finished paving, you wouldn't put those in.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, DPW may have some that they just, in a yard somewhere that they could put down temporarily. but
I'm guessing they don't.
No?
I think this will be one of the only locations with them.
Would signage help?
Mm.
No.
Is the problem the parking spaces aren't long enough to accommodate some big vehicles like trucks and SUVs? Is that the problem?
I met Nerissa and I talked about it, and I pulled the tape the other day, and for the life of me I can't remember what the depth of the
Somebody backed a pickup truck out.
I don't
And
think
there
it's
were
that,
pictures.
the space is
Yeah.
particularly short. It's that if people, you know, the pickup truck, you back up and if you go until you hit the curb with your wheel.
This
then
much
you've
is
got
on the-
bend
Right.
overthrowing it.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of the overthrow of the wheel over the curb.
Did they move the sidewalk?
No,
Closer?
it's,
No.
no, it's up against the sidewalk, literally, so the curbing for the edge of the parking lot then becomes the sidewalk.
Right, because there used to be grass. Yeah, there used to be,
It's not there.
So it's hard to maintain a grass strip anything less than like 16 inches. So that's why we usually don't do this. We do see this on a lot of jobs. So the parking spaces are the correct, they are adequate size, and it is like what Brian said, when you back in, or even sometimes cars, you pull in forward if you don't, you know, hit your brush guard and your car just keeps going, then you're into the sidewalk, you know, 1.5 feet, 2, 3 feet, depending on how you get into the space. So wheel stops, you know, we can use them, and you will still, your vehicle will not stick out into the aisle unnecessary, to a degree that would be intrusive. So I think we can do that. So
Plow guys might have a problem with those.
they definitely will want those out in the winter for sure.
Oh yeah,
So that would be something that would come in, you know, on.
So that then becomes the question, so if we're taking them out for 5 months of the year and the school year's 9.5 long,
Right.
half the year they're not there.
well actually, but typically when they're in, they're in. You're not removing them.
So we can look at, you know, maybe we can widen the amount of asphalt there width-wise. If there's more real estate to the north side of the sidewalk, that might be, if we could add.
yeah.
Something like
Add a foot
not
and a half.
a Jersey barrier, because they're ugly, but something,
Right.
you know, a barrier so that, you know, when a car pulls up, he sees
Yeah.
a wall sort of there. You know, those temporary things you can put up.
Yeah, we'll
Because you can buy plastic ones and,
Mhm.
you know, make them look pretty good and then put them there. That would be discouraging.
Is that right? Like a bollard or a fence up on the curb?
Yeah, something that you can
Oh,
see.
yeah, no,
that,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Is that the pickup truck?
Yeah, so it was a super-long pickup truck.
It was, yeah. The other complaint that I keep hearing about that bottom parking lot is, again, still, I know you told me it's standard, but that people have a hard time pulling out of those spaces, that it's like a 5-point turn to get a bigger car or a truck out.
Yeah, I mean,
I
all
don't
you know,
know.
the dimensions are, you know, they're not shorter than, they're, you know, they're, all those distances are. I'll call it highway.
24
I'll
foot
call it
aisle.
the highway
20
standard.
foot
Yeah.
space with a 24-foot aisle. It's
Yeah.
pretty standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
something you eliminate
I was,
if you
when
want
I walked
to.
down there with Larry, I
People are really bad drivers.
I think part of the problem, from what I saw there at that point, is that because there's no curbing on the other side, we have the opposite problem. People aren't pulling all the
Far
way
enough.
up.
And that might be.
So they're right at the back of those spots, so it
Yeah.
feels very tight. I don't know.
I,
It's like opposite problems on either side of that parking lot.
we could send everyone back to school,
Yeah.
in driver's school. Right?
You can't handle the parking
And
lot
then
parking
charge them
across the
for
street.
it.
I mean, we will gladly look at what we can do to improve that so people are more comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing you can do, but I don't think anyone wants to do it, is you can lose some spaces
That's what I said.
and you know widen things up. I think in the overall count we had a few more than what was original to.
So it gives you width.
Co- Yes, it gives you, right, so people can take wider swings.
But, I mean, isn't it a question of getting used to it, too? You know, it's different.
Education and common sense, unfortunately, which is not common.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're
And
right.
even in those, each of those sections, if you lost one space, then
Yeah, but then people complain that they have to walk from across the street from St. Mary's
Right, but if
in order
it's
to
on-
drop off
if
their
it's-
children, so you can't,
realistically tight, but that's not.
Is that all paved and lined and everything?
It's all, whatever's there now is temporary. We still have 2.5 inches of asphalt going on
We
top.
can also change, when the project is done, make the visitor parking up in this lot area somehow. Because you and I kind of briefly talked about that. Once the
That's
north
16
lots,
spaces where the parents are dropping now.
Right.
That's 16 spaces.
plus
that
we've
come out
got
of line.
10 spaces out here so the buses can make the turn. So there will be more, I think, once the project is finished. I think we just have to get through this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm less concerned about that and more concerned about the sidewalk.
do we run into wetlands though if we move the sidewalk?
No, not on that side.
Okay,
You just get closer to the property line.
because maybe even just making the sidewalk wider and putting a line, you know, just drawing a visual line, because kids, I found are very good at stay between the lines, right?
It ends
Maybe it's just a visual.
probably 30 feet after the basketball court.
Right, so
Just ends.
that used to be where people parked before the.
Well, that's what I'm
club
thinking too, you know, nose in,
We had
parking
like
only,
10
you
spots
see
there.
that.
I mean,
You know,
we can add signs. I have a
Yeah,
feeling
I
if
don't
somebody's
know.
gonna pull that deep, they're gonna not see the sign and
I want some nice poles, some nice metal poles.
How about a strip of wire so that if you pull forward too far, it
Yeah, well,
basically
You only hit
breaks
it
the bottom
once.
of your car? Bad? Sorry. This is videotaped.
all right.
So this strip, you were saying you think there's space to make it wider.
You know, maybe when we do
At the end, it
We have to
definitely
look.
is.
I
There's-
know
Does that
obviously
job.
there's a property line there, and where it jogs is probably right where we would want to think. So it's just a matter of how much real estate's there.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also an education process once the project is done. Maybe when we have, I'm assuming we'll have some sort of an open house or something for the community or for the parents or whatever. Maybe it's positioning somebody in that parking lot with, okay, so here's how this is going to work. Make sure you don't park here. Maybe there are temporary signs put up that say, you know, this is how you park here. And it's probably, you know, parent education as well. And they're just going to have to, I know.
You're doing that every year, though.
I
I mean,
know.
that you've got new
I
parents
know.
coming in every.
I know.
You know, you
60
get
new
used
But
to
just
it.
parents,
reinforce-
20 new parents.
You have to get used to it. You know, does
have to
that
get used to
deter
it.
people from going shopping when the spots at the mall, you know, you have to back up
I
and do, you know?
I know.
You just have
I
to.
know. You just do it.
Yeah.
Tire spikes.
Hopefully people get over it.
I'll get this extension.
Thank you for doing that.
The,
Again, again, and again.
if we're ready to move on.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. No.
I own that one.
It's all right, it comes up every meeting.
I mean, there is a lot happening. I think people have been getting glimpses. I think one of the things Narissa and I talked about after the last meeting was to just have a December walkthrough before the AP turnover. For the committee members, and I will leave it to suggestions for dates. It can be done any time. The hour of this is not is not critical. There isn't one that's better than the other. So it's whatever would accommodate the group. And to that end, if anyone's curious, all I do is come by and just check in at the trailer so that people know that you're here. And any one of the WT Rich folks, if I'm not on site, James is on site, or John. And gladly take you around and make sure you have a hard hat and a vest, and let you see what you want to see.
Does the committee want to pick a date for a committee walkthrough, or?
I don't know if they pick two maybe, and then hopefully one of them would work for. I just know putting down one date with this many people is hard and hard thing to have happen.
How many people would
Especially at this
actually
time.
go to it? Seeing
I would like
that-
to walk
I
through.
think we're talking about this, walkthrough for this group. right?
Yes, correct. Yes, we are. Yes,
Yeah.
it's this.
And
group.
that's what I'm talking about. How many from this group would actually go to it?
Yeah, I would
Knowing
like
that
to.
there's,
Mhm.
Christmas vacations and Christmas coming up and snow possibility and everything else.
Well, I think the goal was to do it before the holiday.
Before it's turned over.
Before it's turned over.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, but I mean,
And and it's not just to see the AP room. We can go up into phase 3 and see what's happening.
What
there,
about
too.
proposing maybe an hour before our regular construction meeting on Friday at 1 p.m.? All of us are here.
I think we used that day and for the last one.
Right before we
Yep.
are all here.
What date is that?
Well, we meet every Friday. We meet every Friday at 1. And
So Friday the 14th?
The 14th?
hang on one second. I have
a hot day.
the
Parent-teacher
MSBA joins our meeting once a month, and
And
I
you don't want us
just
around
here,
for that?
no. You're more than welcome to be. I just end up spending extra time with them going through the project, and I just need to see what. And that's December 14th. I end up
For
spending.
the MSBA.
Yeah, and I spend some time with.
That's an
with-
early
with the rep.
release day for Pine Grove for parent-teacher conferences, so we are going to need as much parking as possible.
Parents will be walking
Parent, yeah.
around the building too.
We do that Friday before, the 7th.
Friday, December 7th.
What time?
That's a week from
That's
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's-
That won't work, that doesn't work for me, but that's fine. If I want to go, I can.
You just call me.
Yeah.
Just give me a call, and gladly take anybody through.
Again, do we want to set it up as a committee group?
Sure, as well.
I was going to say, I think you can, and then that way you don't have to give each individual person a tour.
Yeah.
What time are we talking, Larry?
We meet at 1, so if you wanted to do 12, 11:30, just to give enough time for everyone to get in and not
12
feel
would be-
rushed on the back end.
12 o'clock.
That's
Well,
at 12.
yeah.
12 o'clock,
Is that next Friday?
Yes.
Friday the 7th.
Yeah.
And as long as we're not discussing any business, there should be no issue with
No, there's no problem with site
meetings.
visits, no.
We'll be oohing and eyeing, it's fine.
Yeah, nobody gets to
Yeah.
move anything. All the walls stay the way they are. Give time to make sure we have hard hats for everybody. They've been disappearing.
Traffic cones too.
Are we
And that
meeting in
was
December?
12 p.m.
Sorry.
Well,
Probably
we-
thought
we-
it's not on there. Never mind. Sorry.
We need to,
Jumping ahead
we,
in the
we,
agenda.
we need to set one of those dates.
I thought I already did. Last time,
I don't have a date.
December 20th.
Did we?
I don't have that down.
I'm in November.
December what?
20th?
Yeah.
Not remembering.
For building meeting?
Yep, we did.
Do you have that date?
I wasn't
I'm not available that
I
night.
have November 29th, that's all I have.
Emmett and I are both not available
what
on the
day?
20th.
20th.
I'm not able.
20th?
That was it.
That's why I
Yeah, it's not on my
I'm at
calendar, so.
We can reevaluate the December 20th date.
Do we need a meeting in December?
Yeah,
It's entirely, it's entirely up to you. Right now they've been more informational than issue driven. We should have some things as relates to what's going on at the entrance, but nothing's going to happen.
And snow removal. I mean, I personally would like to know as we go into bad weather that, there's a plan and it's set to go.
We do have a snow removal plan. I think, we've had a storm, it got plowed, there was no, granted it wasn't, a foot of snow, but not every event is going to be a foot of snow. Came in, the lots were, they were open and snow was, up against curb lines, and I didn't see any tires off to the side torn or plow blades sitting out in the middle of the roadway. So I think a lot of the early fares weren't realized. I think the whole issue with the snow removal.
I don't think we've had a real test.
Well, exactly, is if we get we get a nor'easter with 18 inches of snow, and that will be the true test, and we'll kind of set the stage for how to handle things moving forward. But I forget, we get 4 inches.
Yeah.
4 inches.
That's a dusting.
It was handled.
So we still doing the 20th?
I don't think
I would
we'll have a
recommend
quorum.
not.
What?
5 of us
I'm not
can't
going
be
to be
there.
available.
I don't think we have a quorum. So.
Okay.
Emmett and I are not available that night. You're not available that night.
We can take one month off.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
that's
As long as the paperwork gets done.
the trailer's open. The job is open. It will be closed Christmas Day, but I'm sure it'll be open the following
So
day.
do we want to set a January date so we can kind of?
We can
tentative
yeah
January date?
we can do that.
But wait, we're not on that one, are we?
No, we've skipped, but if we're talking dates, we might as well.
Earlier in the month since we.
Skipping, I was just going to say the 10th.
Haven't set anything up probably.
10th to the 17th? Can't do this. Me, Brian, possibly Christine, Michelle, possibly Chris will all be meeting that night.
What are we doing?
On the 10th.
That's
Triton budget meeting.
yeah,
School
it's the
commi- budget
week.
presentation, okay.
What day did you say that?
Tuesday the 17th.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say the 10th is not good?
No, the 10th. Oh, the 10th is good for me. 10th to the 24th.
Oh, when's your budget week? Is
15,
it?
16, 17.
Oh, 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I had it earlier.
Can work for me. That works for
What day of the week is that?
me. Irish
It is a
Thursday.
Thursday.
So is that a yes?
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
What day?
The
10th,
10th.
6:30.
Now the question is, where do you want to hold it?
Not here.
No, you could do it here. We could do it at the AP
The
room.
AP
We
Let's do it in the kitchen.
Are they serving?
We'll just do it in the walk-in freezer.
Walk-in cooler, yeah.
Fast meeting.
I bet if you asked me, I would. I'd be so excited. Make you a full course meal.
Do we have play rehearsal
I
in
mean,
there,
yeah,
James?
just-
What?
yeah,
Is there play rehearsal
We
in
do,
there?
but we're done by 6:30.
Okay.
Although yes,
The
we'll be done 4:30 to 6:30.
We might as well just do it here.
We'll do it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then Jake will be
Yeah,
able to set up.
If you try to do anything, they'll play practice from 4:30 to 6:30 on the 10th, and you don't want to be anywhere near there as the kids are leaving. It's crazy.
All right.
Thursday, January 10th, 6:30 p.m.
Next item is requisition 7. That's been vetted, processed. I met with Narissa and Dennis again, and we went through things, and I was with Karen earlier today to clear up some sales tax things. We still have a couple of credits remaining, which will get taken care of in requisition 8, which is being put together by W.T. Rich in terms of where we're at in the project. Roughly 48% of the project has been billed. And
Is the timing better for you?
Yes.
Okay. We tried to rush. Not rush, but, like move quickly. It was, I think Larry emailed us when we were scheduled like 2 days later. Let's get in there and get it done.
Well, what happened is I was able to submit to MSBA today, and we did have to do a special check run with accounting. So with all your rushing, we got in the day before the last day of the month. So
Sunday yesterday.
yes.
Well,
But I mean that's fine. I mean that it
Yep.
as long as
that
works for me. But
stay on that, yes.
I mean, I guess to being able to get it done quicker, I think for the next couple of pay periods, they're only going to get bigger because there's so much that is happening. So there's the backup I forget was another 300 pages of backup, and it'll probably be 350 this month. But as we get into the north wing, it should excuse me, the east wing, it should moderate, and we'll just have to see.
Do we have MSBA paperwork?
Yes, I do. So we can sign that before everybody leaves. Is Brad Dorr around? Yeah. Okay, he's just not here because I.
Yeah, I said he's available.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll call him in the morning.
All right.
Sounds like Brad's in trouble.
No, he's fine as long as he's not like on vacation or
No,
anything
he's
like
around.
that. As long as he can
He
come
may-
and sign
maybe.
tomorrow morning.
Anybody have any other business?
I have a question. I
Sure.
was looking at the
Yes.
packet here.
Yeah.
Phase 3 substantial completion is February 6th. It says February vacation. Is that date, you think, going to be pretty solid, just so people who are moving can start
The
to
the eighth the eighth is the turnover
The eighth is the
eight is there's a gap in phase 2 to 3
Okay.
from the turnover to the start of construction. There was like a week of extra time that we've put in there so that we make sure that as part of the move we get everything out.
Yeah.
Whether it be technology, which is going to get repurposed elsewhere, to make sure that teachers got all the things out of all the cabinets that they hadn't,
Right.
might have forgotten.
Because that's a big transition with kids one day moving. Kids, it's just people have enough time to.
Yes, but the 8th is the
Is that a Friday?
yes, and what will end up happening is we will come in, as soon as you leave, for the day, we'll come in and we'll start moving.
Okay.
Those folks who are going to a new location,
Yeah.
those that are getting moved up into the finished locations, and start the process of getting the spaces ready for construction on Monday. And again, in the schedule, they were not necessarily starting right on that Monday, but they'll get in there and they'll start to, look at where things are and tag things for demolition and the
The
like.
Monday before the 8th.
Correct.
Before or after.
No, after
Oh,
the
after.
after
The
the
11th.
That
8th.
might be tough.
Yeah.
To have the kids pack the room Friday and have the kids in the new room on Monday.
We'll have to figure this
Maybe
out.
they
Yeah.
give us till Tuesday.
Sure. If we have to, sure.
Just thinking if you.
No. Well, it's.
Yeah, just logistically,
Yeah, mess with
you
it.
move your stuff on Friday.
I'm already in trouble.
Friday.
I said I'm already in trouble. So I'm treading lightly. I'm treading lightly.
Just thinking Friday, if I leave Friday, say 3 p.m., all my stuff's packed. Monday, 8 a.m., kids are in the room. That's kind of tough. Like, could you have the old room on Monday to keep the kids in there and set up the new room? We can chat and,
Yeah, I'm trying. We did it a little bit differently when art and music.
because they don't have kids
They
in
didn't
there
have, yeah.
all day, like a classroom. So just,
Well,
Although I hope
Music.
now I'm going to get in trouble again. I'd hope you'd be ready for the move a little
oh,
sooner.
I think I'll be ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When I-
whoa.
Thinking logistically of,
Yeah.
you know, that's 6 classes of students,
That's
Coming
yeah.
in on
No,
Monday.
it's a tight turn.
very tight.
It's a very tight turn.
And that's the week before vacation, I think.
Sounds like it's.
It is. It is the week before vacation. Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll make it work. We're just gonna have to.
So when is February vacation? When does it start? Monday the.
Monday the 18th.
Oh, so there's that whole. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll figure
Right?
it out. And we can chat.
Yeah, we'll
figure out
come
how
up
we're
with a
gonna
plan.
Organize it all.
Because you guys can take a day to pack if you want,
Because that's
and then a
third
day
and
to
fourth grade
unpack.
upstairs.
Take.
And the final.
Can't
Is,
unpack
are
it.
third and fourth grades moving there into
Right.
their final destination in this phase?
I'll defer to my move expert in the back
Third
wall.
and fourth graders upstairs in the finished
Yeah.
C wing.
Yep.
Are they moving, is in this move?
Second's moving into the fourth grade
Okay,
classrooms.
So it's not, no one's going to their final
Third
destination.
Third grade is.
Third grade
Third
is.
grade goes
Second
to
grade
their
is.
final.
Teachers in the South Wing now, they're moving to their final space. I know you're moving to a temporary space. and
Second grade's moving into the fourth grade, but then they have to pack. Second grade's got to pack up again in June. Yeah.
Didn't mean to bring that up.
What they call it, a caravan.
We'll
It's all those
meeting now,
books,
we can
Emma.
review.
Too many books.
Let's not talk about the books.
Any other issues?
There aren't many left.
Is this other business?
Other?
Yes, other business.
I would just like to some more of an acknowledgement on that snowstorm, that 4-inch snowstorm we were referring to earlier. There was probably a half-inch of rain on top of that, which backed up the east wing roof because it could not get to the roof drains through the slush, and the roof is in such poor shape. It was finding its way in to the classrooms that were occupied. We had to do, you had to relocate classrooms.
2 classrooms have to be relocated for the day.
The reason I bring this up, we did get great support from W.T. Rich. Walter had 4 of his staff members helping divert the water, which had nothing to do with construction. So they pitched in as a team. We worked together. I got the roof cleared so we could get to the drains, and then it subsided. That being said, did I hear correctly that Stanley spent some time up there last Saturday?
Last Saturday, they stripped in some rubber to patch where seams had failed.
That's great.
And,
Anything can help.
You know, we're
I-
not. I don't necessarily know if we got them all
No.
or they got them
Well,
all.
I
but-
texted Frank over the weekend after we had all that rain, and I said, "Are there any leaks?" And
He
he said, "Dry as a
Yeah.
bone."
That wasn't backed up snow and slush. But
Right.
Still,
It's still-
at
we'll see.
least we know what to do if we run into that event again.
The roof isn't getting touched until next time.
Correct. Correct.
But everybody, it was funny. It was on the east side of the east wing, none of the west side of the east wing. There was no water infiltration at all. And I don't know the reason for it, but I'm glad that Stanley was able to do that, and that was W.T. Rich offered to have them come up and do it.
I think it also depends on when the way the wind's
The
blowing,
wind
because last
blows.
March, we did have a rain-wind event.
That's right.
That did affect the library side,
Yep.
all those
That
classrooms.
last rain event we had affected Triton big time.
Yeah.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Because Chris just jogged my memory. I actually happened to be here that morning, and there was a giant pond of water in the middle of the driveway as well.
Yes.
To the point that when I pulled in, Chris came over to check if I had water in my car.
I thought, well, you opened up the
I
passenger door.
know, I opened up the passenger door and was looking at my phone, and she's like, "You have water in your car?"
I thought for sure you
Because
had
it was
water
that
inside.
deep. I was worried about going through it.
That particular event was
Got clogged, right?
the new drainage system. I want
So
everyone to
sorry.
realize the new drainage system works. No one should think it doesn't. What is presently in all those manholes are what they call silt sacks, and they're there to collect all the debris, sand, mud, whatever is been moving around the site when it rains. One of the things that has not occurred is the fall cleanup of the site for leaves. Leaves clog the silt sacks, which allow the water to back up. Not so much back up, it just ponded because it couldn't get through the silt sacks into the system. And the site guys were here, and they popped the lids, and it drained immediately. And since then, I don't think we've had plenty of rain, but we haven't had incident. So, but
Not
we
like
still,
that. I
we,
checked with
we still
Frank
we
at
still have
the
some
last.
we
last
still
rain.
have some leaves that are in and around some of the manholes, and we're going to leave the silt sacks in because it just helps keep the debris out, at least for the time being.
You need certain individuals too. Motion?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. Thank you all for coming. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.